Taking Back the Narrative, Why I Write, written and narrated by Peter J. Merrick, A.K.A. Just an old fart trying to make sense of this beautiful and mysterious thing we call life, one lesson at a time. This morning, while swimming in San Diego, I finally answered a question that has followed me for years, one lap after another. The answer quietly surfaced until I could no longer ignore it. Why do I write? The answer has nothing to do with books, articles, or publishing. I write because I refuse to surrender ownership of my own mind. I have come to believe the most valuable asset you will ever own is not your money, your business, your reputation, your home, or even your health. It is your narrative, because the person who controls the meaning of your life eventually controls your life. That is how manipulation has always worked. Before anyone can influence your decisions, they first have to influence how you interpret reality. If they can convince you that what you experienced never happened, that your instincts cannot be trusted, or that your judgment is flawed, they have already won the hardest battle. Once you begin doubting yourself, they no longer have to control you because you begin doing it for them. History is full of examples: cults, dictatorships, abusive leaders, manipulative romantic relationships, and confidence artists all begin in exactly the same place. They do not begin by demanding obedience. They begin by rewriting the story until the victim no longer trusts his own eyes. I have written before about spiritual vampires. The older I become, the more convinced I am they feed less on weakness than they do on confusion. Confuse a person's thinking long enough, and certainty slowly disappears. When certainty disappears, identity is not far behind. And once identity is lost, manipulation becomes remarkably easy. I have watched this happen in business. I have watched it happen in families, in romantic relationships, in politics, and in everyday life. The names change. The strategy never does. That realization changed the way I think. It also answered why I have spent years sitting down almost every day to write. Writing is where I reclaim my narrative. Every belief, every assumption, every fear, and every conclusion has to earn the right to remain in my life through ruthless honesty. The blank page has exposed more lies inside me than any enemy ever could. It has shown me where I blamed others, protected my ego, ignored my intuition, and surrendered responsibility for my own life. Those are difficult discoveries, but they're also liberating. Freedom begins the moment we stop defending stories that no longer deserve our loyalty. While swimming this morning, another unexpected gift arrived. A novel I had been carrying in pieces finally revealed itself, and with it came the title, Sky Angel, the follow-up to The Rare Flower, a psychological romance that has received a cult following. It reminded me that truth rarely shouts over the chaos of the world. More often, it waits patiently for a quiet mind willing to listen. The world is full of little girls and boys that pretend they are self-actualized adults who want to tell you who you are. Some want your money. Some want your loyalty. Some crave attention from anyone that will foolishly spend on them. And some simply need you to doubt yourself because your confidence reminds them of what they abandoned. That of being human in exchange to become a spiritual vampire. It makes them feel a little less inconsequential by confusing their parasitism with genuine partnership. Do not hand them the pen. I do not write because I believe I have the answers to life's great mysteries. I write because I have learned that freedom is not something we inherit. It is something we defend by questioning the stories that govern our lives. You do not lose your freedom in one dramatic moment. You lose it one unquestioned story at a time. Take back your narrative. Guard your mind. Trust what you know to be true. And never surrender the pen that writes the story of your own life. Peter Merrick, A.K.A. Old Fart. Taking back my narrative and owning it. You need to put spiritual vampires where they need to stay, where they belong, in their coffins.